And we should be live. Hey everyone, how you going? Let me just fix a few things and we should be good to go. Just double checking, everyone can hear me and see me as usual. Hopefully that's all good. But yeah, if you've got any questions, send them in. It's been good. It's been a while. I haven't posted a video in probably a week and a bit, so it's been a bit quiet, but it's just been pretty crazy time. But yeah, got 7 people in. Wait till we get to around 10-15 and then we'll start. Oh wow, okay, it jumped up quickly from like 7 to 21 people. That's crazy. And then just double checking the audio is in sync with the video. There's no delay or anything. Hopefully, yeah. Went fully short. Let me just fix the camera up a little bit. All right. Wow, God, it goes quick. Okay, I remember the days when we used to like struggle to get like 20 or 30 people on like a proper live stream. Now we like start with 20 people. It's crazy. But yeah, all right, sweet. Everyone's here and it looks like it seems to be working all good. But yeah, went short, you know, COVID haircut. They got the fiance to cut my hair. There's about 4 on the top, 2 on the sides. Too stingy. Little delay. Yeah, I just need to figure out because whenever there's sometimes a little delay on this, but when it posts up to YouTube, then the delay's gone. But yeah, it's always it's weird. But how much of a delay are you seeing, Lil Brooksy? If there's a big one, then we'll have to. Yeah, I might just reduce it just a little bit. See how we go. It's like half a second. Let's double check. 800. Is that a little bit better? Hopefully that's a little bit better. But yeah, I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully it's good enough now. But all right, perfect. All right, let's go back to, yeah. So yeah, as I got a haircut. Been working on a few things. But yeah, start sending your questions through and I'll get through them. But yeah, we'll had all the buyer's guides, they're done now. So yeah, I might do an e-bike one. Whatever. Do you guys think I should do an e-bike one? If you think I should do an e-bike one, then I'll do it. But if not, then I'll leave it to the e-bike channels because there's a fair few of them out now. So I don't know if I'll leave it to them. But yeah. As you guys knew, when I last did the live stream, I was about to move up to Queensland, and that didn't happen because yeah, the had the lockdown on the northern beaches. So, well, I don't live there. That was where I was. So I live in another part of Sydney, but because of that, then it spread to the rest of Sydney, and then the borders shut, so I couldn't go anywhere. So spewing about that, but yeah, so I reckon we'll probably move up to the old Queensland, hopefully in maybe February, I reckon. But yeah, I just don't know now. Don't know when the borders are going to open. So hopefully it gets all sorted soon. So let's get back to where it is. Help me get to 100 subs. I'll reply to you. Send through some questions. Yeah, so Marina 140 is good. Yeah, absolutely. It's an good little bike to have a bit of fun on. You guys know I'm a 29 fanboy, but for a 27.5 inch bike, if you just want a fun bike, then I think it's a good option. 1234 Cypher asks thoughts on the D5. I say I like the I'm a big fan of like the D6 and D7. D5 is a great bike if you're starting off as well, but I reckon it's worth spending that little bit extra to go up to the D6, D6 and D7. You get a through axle in the rear, and that definitely makes things a little bit better. The linkage is a one piece, so it's a little bit stiffer too, but the geometry is the same. So, and then you can't get the D5 in a 29er either. It's only 27.5 only. Rough Seal asks, can I suggest a bike model for riding Daisy Hill in Brisbane? Well, when I get up to Queensland, eventually, when I ride Daisy Hill, I'll be able to have a better idea. But from what I've seen in videos, doesn't seem anything too crazy. So I reckon something like a 120, 130 mil hardtail will do the job. So there's plenty of good options. So something maybe like something from the aggressive hardtail buyer's guide. I know that the Canyon Stoic wasn't around when I did that, but that's a good option. Nuke Proof Scout is another good option there. Something that kind of around 120, 130 mil option. There's Marina Big Trail. So many good little hardtails that you can get for that kind of stuff, and for the money. Looks good too. Okay, we got 39 people. It's growing quick. Lamb Chops, do I think the Rift Zone 3 is great for the price? Absolutely. It's one of my favorite bikes for the money. It'll probably be, once I finish reviewing the T8, I might go to a Rift Zone or something else. I'll probably swap back to a Mara and see what's happening. A from Raves asked, the T8's bleeding out to March. Yeah, it's just, the demand's been crazy, and yeah, it's the bike industry at the moment. There's going to be some delays with production, a lot of bikes. What's the difference? I'm not going to pretend to route. Chuang Nugged Up? Oh no. He's like, what's the difference between a 2x10 and a 2x11? Essentially, the cassette's got an extra gear on it. So you've got an 11-speed cassette instead of a 10-speed cassette. And typically 11-speed stuff's going to be, usually like in the lineup, it's just going to be slightly higher up. Except on, say, the new Dior stuff, there's like there's a 10-speed option, 11-speed option, and 12-speed option. So yeah, it's just, you can have like the similar range in like a 2x10 versus 2x11, but your spread of gears is just going to be, there's going to be less of a gap between the gears. So if you like your cadence and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, you can get a decent range 10-speed and 11-speed cassette. So yeah, it's not too much of an issue. Yeah, now Mozzie, yeah. Can't tell by the accent. Do I have a day job? Yeah, I do. Do like social media and marketing, that kind of stuff. So yeah, similar stuff. And then YouTube's kind of just a hobby thing I do on the side. Amiga Dubs, what do I think about the Shimano XT wheel set? On the T8, the rims. So they don't have, so they're at Entity Rim. I think they're a Shimano hub, and the Shimano hubs haven't had a problem with them. I really like them. But yeah, I think there is also like, there's the new XT wheel set, which I'd like to try, the actual trail wheel set. I might think about getting that, but yeah, I have to see. Also, when there's going to be, if you guys didn't see, I'm thinking, I've got the frame coming. So there's also going to be the subscriber bike for this year. So go into a bit more detail about that. So essentially, I've bought a carbon frame from China. The geometry is actually half decent. So we're going to build up that frame, and then you guys are going to vote on what parts I put on the bike. So each kind of video, we're going to vote in a few different parts, and then we're just going to go through those, and then gradually build up the bike throughout the year. And then you guys are going to vote on some ideas for the videos. We're going to do that. So I think kind of it's like Backyard Trail Builds with his like trail building series, but it's going to be for a bike, and then you guys can kind of choose what we do with it. So be pretty fun. So it's going to be still value oriented. So we're going to still focus about value parts. And then hopefully we can get some brands on board. So when we do vote for the parts, I need you guys to, once we pick which one it's going to be, I need you to talk to the brands and just spam them with messages to send me the part, because it'll end up pretty expensive. But yeah, so that's going to be the plan. So yeah, I think it'll be a good interactive way. And then hopefully at the end of it, might give away the parts as well. So yeah, it'll be a fun little project. So yeah, Rough Seal. Yeah, you guys are, if you're up to Queensland, you got the 3-day lockdown. My sister lives up there, and they went to the shops today to get some supplies, and bloody been cleared out. So Dizzy Thumbs, I have the Polygon T8 off big drops. I maxed out both suspensions. Yeah, so you want to, if your sag set up right, then your spring rate set up right, then you want to add some spacers. If it's the new generation of Polygon Siskiyou T8 like that I found the 0.6, even the 0.8 spacer potentially in the rear. So I've got the 0.6 at the moment. I think that works really well, but you could even go to 0.8 if you're a bigger guy. And that works perfectly. So 30% sag, even 32 with that 0.8 spacer would be pretty good if you're really doing bigger drops. But yeah, 0.6 for me with that 32% sag seems to work perfectly. But you want to add spacers. So if it's the new generation T8, so you got the Fox 34 up front, that works best with 4 spacers I've found. And then the rear 0.6 works best for me. But also I've got Tannis in the rear, and that kind of complicates things a little bit. So I'll talk about that. My next video is going to be talking about Tannis tire armor and all that kind of stuff like that. and why I'm kind of switching back to tubes on the rear of the bike. That should be an interesting video. Ben says, I have a question. Of course, I was riding Cannonball on the Siskiyou T7. A rock hit the down tube and it has a dent around 2 centimeters square. Is it safe long term, and would it be covered by warranty? That's a tough one. Yeah, you'd have to send some photos to the manufacturer, well, whoever you bought the bike from, and then they'd give you a better idea of if it's under warranty. I have no idea with that kind of stuff. But if it's deep, then like small dent, a pretty big dent, it could potentially affect the structural integrity of the tube. So I'd definitely be careful. I wouldn't be doing anything stupid on the bike, but I'd definitely send some photos and see if it is covered under warranty. Theodostar 25. I've got a 2,000 to 2,200 AU to spend. I ride quite aggressively. Any ideas? I mean, if you're riding quite aggressively, like it would be better saving a little bit extra and going up to say like an all-mountain enduro bike if you are going to be doing that kind of stuff, because the kind of entry-level dual suspension market is kind of like that shorter travel trail bike. And if you are doing really aggressive riding, it's just not going to handle the abuse long-term. So it would be worth spending a little bit extra. But if you can't spend a little bit extra, I'd probably go use for kind of like more of an enduro or mountain bike. Because yeah, as I said, those kind of more affordable dual suspension bikes around $2,000 typically aren't built for super aggressive riding if you're talking bigger drops like 2 meters and all that kind of stuff. But if you're just doing general trail riding and smaller jumps, then say all those kind of bikes like Marina 140, Marina 120, Polygon Siskiyou T, all those kind of Siskiyou D and all those kind of bikes would work pretty well. Robin, hello from Australia. Hello from Germany. Rough Seal says, love your buyer's guides, very useful. I hope they are. That's why I make them. A lot of work goes into them, so I'm glad you guys have enjoyed them this year. Neil, you're insane, man. Got me into mountain biking. Glad I could get some people into mountain biking. That's why I started the channel, and just mainly so people could find the right bike and get into it and enjoy the sport, rather than say getting something that's just gonna break on them in 2 rides. Because yeah, I started on a cheap hardtail and I broke it after like 4 or 5 rides. And then working in a bike shop, it's kind of, you see that happen all the time. So you just want to get people on the right bike. I guess that's the main thing, just so people can enjoy it. Little Brooksy, what's my thoughts on the San Quentin? Great little bike, super aggressive hardtail. So if you're into that kind of stuff, throwing it around a bit, 27.5 inch wheels too. So it's definitely one of those more fun bikes. If you're doing more XC stuff, definitely would be slightly on the slower side. But if you do more trail or mountain riding and you want a bike that you can really send around, then I think it's a great option. Adrian Biggs from the UK. Got some people from around the world. It's good to see. Usually we only get typically Australian people on it. So yeah. Mega Dubs. Oh, that's what he meant by yeah. Yeah, so I think if you're looking kind of in that like wheel set for the kind of like good for the money, that Shimano XC looks good. Decent width as well. And if you got the micro spline for the T8, then it'll be a good option, because the T8 wheel set is slightly on the heavy side. So that's something I'll probably talk about in the review a little bit. Because yeah, it's I think almost like 2.5 kilos. So it is definitely on the heavy side. So yeah, if you save a little 500 grams from like a half decent wheel set there, so something's usually around kind of $500, $600. Wheel set's going to be around about anywhere from 1850 to 2 kilos. Or 1850 grams to 2000 grams. So you're going to save a fair bit. So it definitely transforms the bike going to a lighter wheel set. So yeah, saying the Hunt rims, so Hunt, the all mountain enduro ones or the trail wide ones, probably the trail wide would be the better option. But I think it's very hard to get a hold of them. Then there's the new Nuke Proof Horizons. So they seem to have solved any issues that they had with the hubs with the old ones. That'd be a good option too. And then also there's Shimano ones too. So those would be the 3 main ones that I'd look at. They're probably the best value for money. Menno asks, he's looking for a new mountain bike, trail bike, 130 millimeters of suspension, and as light as possible, do a lot of XC. What comes to mind? 130 mil max. I think like if you're looking for something light and fast, because if you do a lot of XC, I think you can't really go wrong with the Giant Trance 29. I think that's a really good bike for someone who does XC and trail. It's a super fast bike, super light, and it's really efficient too. So that's probably what comes to mind if you're looking for a super fast bike. That is 115 in the rear, 130 up front, but it probably feels more like a 120 mil rear travel. But I think that's probably one of the more faster bikes that I definitely recommend for a lot of people. Bike Shop brand too. So if you're looking for a really versatile fast bike that can do a bit of XC, I think the Trance 29 is a great option. Tech Rides, went to Rimba. Rimba's awesome. Haven't been there for a while since they've done a lot of work there. So before I move up there, need to move up to Queensland, need to ride there again. But it looks like what they've done there has been some sick stuff. Marty, welcome back. Always on the live streams. Good to see. Son's looking for a dirt jumper. As the Alcatraz a good option for dirt jumps, pump tracks, and some stuff at Skull and Rotorua. Yeah, I think the Alcatraz is a great option. Trids as well. I've never heard anyone have any issues with a Polygon Trid in terms of, Sam Reynolds does a good job with the Trid. I think those two bikes are probably the most affordable, pretty bulletproof bikes in terms of dirt jumpers. So those two bikes, I've never had any issues with those two bikes. Jack Wrightson asks, have any idea, have a budget of 2,500 British pounds, trail and enduro bike, but more on the enduro side. Yeah, so I think anything from that all mountain kind of buyer's guide, some of the more aggressive side, so something like that Common Style Meta TR, the Vitus Escarp are great options if you're kind of looking for that trail all mountain kind of towards the enduro side. I think they're both great options. Also the Norco Sight, I don't know if you can get those in the UK. But then if you're looking for more of an enduro bike, definitely check out any of those bikes from, say, the All Mountain. The enduro buyer's guides would be good options as well. Matt for MTB, love the channel. Thanks, man. Ritvik Ivaturi has a Trek Roscoe 7, wants to upgrade the fork. I ride aggressive and want something a bit more travel. I'm about 150 pounds. Any good suggestions? I think you don't want to go too crazy. I wouldn't spend an absolute fortune because you kind of would limit like the capability of the Roscoe 7. You don't want to kind of spend a fortune on a fork and kind of like the bike will hold you back eventually. So I think something like the Marzocchi Z2 would be a really good upgrade for that bike. It's not too expensive, but it's definitely a lot more capable than what's on their stock. Try it 76. I'm from the UK. Why was the Voodoo Bazango mountain bike such a big thing in Europe? I think it's just the availability thing. I don't think they're really available in many other places, but they're a really good bike for the money. They seem to go well in all those buyers' guides. Thanks, Sam. I've got my super chat. She did the haircut, so she just sends me the tip for the haircut. I should be tipping you for the haircut. So, Dizzy Thumbs. It's always happy when I get a super chat. Thanks, Sam. Dizzy Thumbs watching from overseas, Tasmania. Man, I wish I was in Tasmania. I miss it so much. I need to go back there. It's amazing. If you live in Australia and you haven't been to Tasmania and ride, even just going there, just in general, it's such a beautiful place, and the riding's insane too. But yeah, it's just we did like a 3 or 4 week road trip around Tasmania, and it was absolutely awesome. I've been to New Zealand as well, and like in terms of like the landscape, it's pretty similar. So you don't need to go. I mean, it's pretty much the same time to get to New Zealand as does Tasmania from Sydney. Peter S., another person from Germany. He says, I have an offering for a Common Style Meta TR 2021 for 1,900 euros. I mean, I'm not too sure about conversions, but that seems like a pretty good deal. Lamb Chops, Marina Big Trail 600 versus Marin Quentin 3. I mean, both very, very close bikes. It would really come down to personal preference and whatever you think's better spec for the money. I need to look at them side by side. Haven't done that in a while, but yeah, both of them are going to be great options. So you can't go wrong with either. So just pick whichever one you like. They're both great bikes. Mohammed Ifran. Hi from Malaysia. We're getting so many people from overseas. It's awesome. Got some Malaysia, Germany. That's awesome. So you got a San Quentin stake to you. That's a great buy. Oh wow, I'm missing. Okay. Adrian Biggs, riding Vita Santia 29. Any point swapping to a coil fork? I don't think a coil fork on that kind of bike would be the way to go. Yeah, I think if you're going kind of more, I think coil forks definitely work best on more of an all-mountain enduro bike. For a hardtail, I think the way the air forks are these days, they're pretty damn good. So I just stick with an air fork on a bike like that. Harrison says, do you get airtime? I'm like, very rarely. I mean, you guys saw my jumping video. Actually, not many people watched it. But yeah, jumping's not my strong suit. But when I did go to Bear Creek the second time, so just when it opened, I was clearing all the jumps on the most right line. So the easiest line on the big jumps, and I can clear all of them now. So that's as big as I'll jump for a while. Mr. Rundy. Oh, it's good info about the Wragleys because yeah, they weren't out at the when I did my buyer's guide, but I definitely recommended them. So yeah, it's good to see that they're coming out at the end of January. So if you're looking for an aggressive hardtail, they'll probably be up on Chain Reaction, or if you live in the UK, good option too. So that's good to hear. Derek says Privateer 161 looks like the best build for an enduro bike for the money. Yeah, I agree. If you got like that little bit extra cash, like it's mine. I mean, it's pretty close to what the budget was in that buyer's guide, but yeah, it was like for the spec, you're pretty much getting top of the line stuff for almost bikes that you would be getting like the next step down. So yeah, it's gonna be it's a great bike. When's the long-term ride review of the T8 coming out? I'll be able to tell you. So so what's coming up next? You guys get a good idea. So I've got my tennis review coming out. So essentially that's going to be like bit clickbaity, but like why I'm switching back to tubes. So you'll see that in the title, but it'll be like the tennis tire arm review. So if you guys don't know about tennis, it's a foam insert that goes in your tire that wraps around the whole inside. So say like Cushcore, it only does like the bottom half. This goes around that, and then there's a tube inside. But if you use like an ultralight tube, like a Tube Lido, it weighs a fair bit less, and you can use a lighter casing tire versus say like Cushcore, where you have to run like a double down because you don't have protection from the top. With this, you've got protection all around the tire, so you can run a thinner tire. So weight, it's only 100 grams extra than if I'm running a double down casing tubeless setup. So that's like nothing, and then you get way more support, and then puncture protection's better, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so that'll be next. Then I'm going to do either the mountain bike awards for 2021. So it'll kind of be a wrap up of the buyer's guides and what's the best out of that. And then also talk about what parts came out this year. And then I might do a reviewing like every piece of gear that I ride with. So my knee pads, helmet, any gear I carry on the bike and all that kind of stuff too. Everything I ride with, I'm going to review in one video. So it'll be like 10 different reviews in one video. And then we'll have the T8 review. So it's going to be, I think, mid to late February that the T8 review will come out. Long story short. I do want to spend a little bit more time on it as well. I want to tune a few things just to see if I can tune the rear suspension a little bit more. But yeah, I think I might take Tannis out for a few rides just to kind of get a better idea, because the Tannis improves the damping so much. So you can run a really terrible setup, but the damping from the rear tire and all that kind of stuff kind of like disguises the bad setup a little bit. So yeah. Go from the first person from America is up. It was Rip Vic. So I can't remember if I pronounced your name right, man. But he's got to sleep. So yeah. No, if you're in the US, sleep, man. Getting back down. Sorry, I'm catching up. Okay. Jai's edit. Do I think you should get a Marin Bobcat Trail 5 or the Polygon Extrada? I think the Bobcat Trail, like the geometry is slightly better, ever so slightly, but the Polygon Extrada is a little bit better in terms of you do get a tapered head tube, and then also internal cable routing for a dropper. But it's a very tough bit because if you get to a point where you've reached those limits of those bikes, so I don't think the tapered head tube is the biggest selling point. So I'd probably go the Bobcat Trail. I think it's just I think the Geo is just a little bit better. Hello from Florida. Hero from Florida. God, we're getting crazy. We're getting some Florida people in here as well. Thoughts on the wider Iso? Looks like a great downcountry bike. I love using that word. Everyone loves it. But no, I think it's a great option. If you're looking for that kind of bike, so like a fast kind of trail bike that you can do a bit of XC on, I think it's one of the best ones out there. Little Brooksy, have I ridden the Camden River Trail? That trail doesn't exist, according to everyone. It doesn't exist. Yes, I have, not for a long time, because I thought you couldn't ride there anymore. Ryan, have I checked out the Tiny Talk? Yeah, I had a few people talk about the talk in the Enduro Bike Buyer's Guide. I think it's more of definitely it's more of like that free ride kind of style bike. That's why I just didn't include it. And yeah, I think it's great value for money. So if you're looking for more of that free ride thing, so if you mainly are riding the bike park and that kind of stuff, I think it's a great option. But yeah, if we're more of an enduro style bike, I think those other ones are a little bit better option. Guayo, he has a dent in my frame, similar to the guy earlier. Don't know if it affects his riding. Can I send a photo? I probably wouldn't, I'm more than happy to help out with this kind of stuff, but I can't necessarily, when it comes to safety and a warranty thing, it definitely is better to contact the person you bought the bike from. I wouldn't feel confident in myself saying, if you've got a dent in your frame, something goes wrong, and then I said it's okay to ride. I don't really feel comfortable with giving that recommended. I don't know if you guys understand, but yeah, I think it's definitely best if you talk to the manufacturer where you bought the bike from, and emailing the company, because they'll have a better idea about the integrity of the frame and that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, if you do have an issue with your frame, like a dent or anything, it's probably best to send them a photo or an email, and they'll give you a better idea of if you can ride it, because I don't have insurance. The original MK is a heavy bike good? Yeah, very context. Much context. On the downhill bike, sometimes the suspension performs a little bit better on a heavier bike. So descending, say you love with the e-bikes, say they are slightly heavier, about 5-6 kilos, they feel a bit more planted. So on the descents, if you're doing more kind of rowdy enduro stuff, a little bit of extra weight, if you're not pedaling that much, might be a good thing. But if you are doing a fair bit more pedaling and a lot of flat stuff, then an extra bit of weight won't be that good. So really depends on what riding you're doing. Nathan asks, do I prefer tires with a rounder or square profile? I find that my hand stamps don't dig in very well, even though I'm on 29 internal. Yeah, so depends on the tire size. Typically I'd say probably more on the middle to rounder side. I tend to lean the bike over a little bit more, so I don't mind. But if you do have a flatter, it can kind of feel like it. If you have a flatter profile, it can kind of feel like you've got a lot of grip, and when you're leaning over not much. But when you lean over too much, it can disappear a bit. So there's a point where it is diminishing returns of having a super wide rim kind of squaring off the profile a bit. It can definitely feel a little bit sketchy. So I think 29 internal width with 2.4 to 2.5 maxes, I think is perfect. But if you're running say a 2.6, then I do think something like a 35mm rim would work a bit better. My Richards, are the rims on Polygon bikes a little bit softer? The stock ones, the stock rims are on the most typical bikes, say something with a lot of stock bikes that come with WTB rims, which is a very popular one, and a lot of the Polygon ones, the Entity ones that they come with, they are slightly on the soft. I mean, I haven't dented them, but they typically are. Any kind of rims that come stock on most bikes that aren't, say, a name brand, a Stans Flow or something like that, they're going to be slightly on the softer side. So most OEM wheels that typically come with bikes are typically on the softer side. That's just in my experience. Every bike that I've pretty much had that's a factory rim has dented a fair bit. So I've had WTB, then there's all the other ones like Formula Novatech. They have a lot of factory OEM wheels that do as well. Most brands are just rebranded WTBs as well, and they all tend to ding a little bit easy. Even when I had my nuke-proof Horizons, after I did my review, I dinged them like 3 times, which was kind of annoying because it was like, review, oh yeah, they were good. And then after I finished my review, dinged them 3 times. So, is what it is. Bikes and barbells. Do you know if the high-speed, low-speed dial on the Grip 3 spin independently? I see both. Yeah, I haven't had an experience to where... I haven't used the Grip 2 on the 38 yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. Yeah. Anthony Lee, what's a good first suspension bike for under 3,500 Australian dollars? Depends on what riding you're doing. So if you're just starting off, I think something like those shorter travel trail bikes would be a good option. So something like a Marina Rift Zone, Trans 29er, Marina 120, anything kind of those bikes are going to be a good option. But if you kind of up to that next price point, kind of that all mountain buyers guide, all mountain bikes, I check out that all mountain buyers guide. That's going to be a good price point, kind of 3,500 Australian dollars. Timo, someone from Finland. It's crazy. We've got another person. He's looking forward to the tennis review. I'm using something similar from Mr. Yeah, I've seen some stuff from Mr. Wolfsolve. Mr. Wolfsolve. I've seen a few things from him. But yeah, I think tennis is for a rear tire solution. I think if you're just doing general trail riding, I think it is probably a little bit too heavy. But if you're doing more all mountain enduro stuff, I haven't found a setup that works as good as the Tannis in the rear, especially with that tube Lido. When I was using a normal tube, it did feel a bit heavy and sluggish. But when I was using that lighter tube, it didn't feel like there was much weight gain at all. We've got Josh from Scotland. Awesome. All over the globe. We're going worldwide. It's crazy. We only used to get people from Australia. T's Life. Hey, man. Always on every live stream. Hey, champ. Martin Schwartz. Do I prefer a longer or shorter chainstay? I tend to prefer... I've ridden a few bikes. Like I used to have a nuke-proof Mega, which did have a longer chainstay. And it felt stable at speed, like super great like that. And really balanced in the corners. But getting it to move around like tighter corners and stuff like that, it was a little bit difficult. But then in Sydney, we do have a lot more like tighter techie stuff, and the longer chainstay I didn't like it as much. So I tend to prefer 430, 435 is like what I really like. But if I was a little bit taller, then I would feel like I'd need a little bit longer. But I feel like 430, 435 is my kind of golden zone. But saying that, on the Siski T, I think it is 425. I haven't felt like I've needed a longer chainstay at all, so I might even like it even shorter. Guitar Jazz, beginner mountain bike from Sydney. Would you go for the Polygon Tisky D7 or the T7? I mean, if you can wait, I think the T7, like it does pedal slightly as well as the D7, but the benefits that you get on the descending is far better than the D7. So if you can wait a little bit, I definitely recommend the T7, but definitely, I'm saying definitely a lot again. Keep on the ball, because when they do come in stock, they go quick. So yeah, I'll see if I can give you guys a notification when they come out, so you guys can get in quick. Marty Richards, Izzo or 120? I'd go the Izzo. Yeah. Jeffrey, the stream's lagging a bit. I thought I was fixed. No, it seems to be weird because when I have it, when it's working, like when it might lag a little bit now, but when it uploads, it seems to be together. But having misses, sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. It's just a mess. Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Tease off, not up Queensland yet. I wish I was up in Queensland. No, this is crappy Sydney internet. Wait, I've gone down the chat. Missed it. But yeah, no. Sorry, T. We're not up in Queensland yet. Borders closed. So where was I? Here we go. Jeffrey asks, should I buy the Canyon Spectral 29er with a carbon frame or the 27.5 specs? I think go the 29er. The new geometry on the Spectral 29er is significantly better. And that kind of bike, I think, just works better with a 29. So, yeah, definitely go the 29er. And shout out to Jolly Nose Mountain Bike Park. It's good, some good trails up there. I need to get up there when I do the commute up. I'll stop at Jolly Nose. Regan, what are thoughts on the Kona Lava Dome? Haven't looked at it too much. Like I looked at the pricing when I was looking at the budget hardtail buyer's guide, and it looked pretty good. It just missed out, so I think it's a good little bike. What do I think of the comments on Meta HTAM? I think it's a great little bike, but the value for money wasn't quite as good as the other bikes on the list. You don't get a dropper post when the other ones you were getting a dropper post. And the Geo wasn't. It's good, but it's not quite as good as say some of the other bikes in that more in the trail hardtail buyer's guide. So I think it's still a great bike, and if you've got some extra money for a dropper post, then it's fine. But yeah, I think the other ones are a little bit better deal. What a Meno Groen asks, what do I think of the Canyon Neuron 7 2021? Yeah, so it is more of a conservative bike. So if you do kind of like more of like the Trail XC side of things and you do prefer a faster, more responsive bike in the turns, I think it's a great option. But if you are hitting some more aggressive terrain, I think some of the other bikes would be a little bit better. Pavan asks, what do I think of the Polygon Extrada 7 2021 limited edition? I'd go the normal 2021 versus the limited edition. So the normal 2021 has an updated frame with better geometry, where the 2021 limited edition was the old frame with good specs. So I think the normal 2021 model would be a better option. Got some spam in the chat. Okay, Chef asks, hey man, hey man, there's new Polygon vendors on the bicycles. I didn't know they were up. Okay, the question's already started, but I need to make a video about the Polygon vendors. I didn't know they were up yet. So I'll work on, might do a video on the Polygon vendors first before we'll do a video on the Tannis. I don't know. We'll see. I'll try and get something quick done on the vendors just so it explains, because yeah. So essentially, I'll do a quick spiel here, but I'll talk about it a bit more in the review. So Polygon produces a lot of bikes for other brands. So do what you may with that there. They had extra capacity to build a lot more bikes of those models. So with the added demand on the bikes, they had the leftover parts for the frame and all that kind of stuff. So they're like, hey, why don't we build up those bikes to fill some of the demand that have for bikes at the moment? So they'll build up some of these bikes and then sell them at a good price as well. So that's what you're seeing with the vendors. There were some leftover frames that they had, and then they built them up and then put their branding on it. So say what you mean. It is very similar to those other bikes. I'll say that. But yeah, essentially you're getting a great bike at a great price. The Vander T is the Vander N is an absolute machine. I'll say that. Yeah, but say in the chat, do you want me to do the Polygon Vander video first, or do you want me to do the Tannis video first? Whatever you guys want. I didn't know they were up for sale yet. Have to have a look. Oh yeah, they are up. When did they come up? I have to have a look. So yeah, you got the Vander T's and the Vander N's. So yeah. But yeah, let me know in the chat which video you'd like to see first. T, we're still waiting for up here. Man, I wish I could come up there. Chris asks, have I thought about doing a review on the Reed Vice? Yeah, I'm not a big fan. Like, I looked at the geometry of the bike and it's definitely a fair bit dated. So I wasn't a huge fan of the bike. It's still, like, the parts are great value for money and the frame's probably okay, but the geometry is just a bit behind the 8 ball. Evan asks, how do I find a deal on a used full suspension bike? You just have to keep searching. Like, Facebook Marketplace is super popular in Australia. There's a lot of places there. So there's a lot of groups, so like New South Wales Mountain Bike Trading Post and all that kind of stuff like that. But expect inflated prices at the moment. People are taking advantage of people selling bikes at the moment, which I don't get. Like, I mean, when I sold my Alpine Trail, I sold it at a pretty fair price. But everyone seems to have been inflating the prices pretty crazy. Sorry, let me go down. Yeah, it looks like I'm gonna have to smash out that Vander video. So we'll probably go to stream for more 20 more minutes, so we'll make it an hour. So 7:39 now. So put the questions through, and by the time I get to them, it should be the end. Jake asks, "Hey man, looking at getting my first bike. Not really sure what to get. I've got 2,500 to spend." Yeah, I think if you're just starting off and you're not doing anything crazy, I think something from that budget full suspension buyer's guide would be a good option. So something like the Norco Fluid FS, Polygon Siskiyou D7, that Polygon Vander would be a good option too. Those kind of bikes would be a great option to kind of go with. Okay, I'm gonna have to be writing a quick script about the Polygon Vanders. Yep, seems to be the Vander. Okay, I'm gonna have to smash that script up crazy. Who said they saw the Vander first? I can't remember who said that. When did it come up on the website? That's what I want to know. Is it only on the Australian website or is it on the US side as well? Let me have a look. Yeah, it's on the US side as well. Crazy. Is it up for pre-order yet? It's on for pre-order. Wow. Oh wow, they're arriving soon. Damn. Okay. Well, I'll smash that video out for you guys. But yeah. So yeah, one thing about the Vander as well. It's a limited one-off run. So this bike's not staying in the lineup. It's just like extra capacity to produce the bike. So we're just doing a huge batch of them to just clear what extra stock they had, so you guys could get the bikes, and then that's it. So it's not a part of the Polygon lineup for the future. It's just like a one and done kind of thing. So it's like a limited edition frame. So if you did want that bike from the UK that was very popular and reviewed really well, then you can get that in the Australia and the US now. And if you do want to buy it, affiliate link in the description. But yeah, so the UR team and all that kind of stuff like that won't be running it. I missed out where I'm at. Jeffrey about the KN20. Yeah, there might be an alloy. Surely there'll be an alloy version that comes out, but I don't know. With the Strive, they didn't do a alloy version. A lot of companies are sticking to just carbon frames as well. Wylar asks, do I run the Tannis up front? No, I do not run the Tannis up front. So I'll go into this a bit more in the review, but the main reason I didn't run it up the front was because I never really get punctures up the front. So I didn't see the need to run it up the front, really. That's all it comes down to. There's no point carrying an extra 300 grams in my tire if there's no reason for the protection anyway. So I don't really run it up front. But if you are racing enduro and downhill, like, I don't see a problem. I don't see why it wouldn't. The damping performance would help a fair bit in those scenarios. But for me, I just didn't like it that much. I'll go into a bit more detail later, but yeah, that's the main reason. Zillifi, Gordon Norco Storm, 2021. What's my thoughts? Yeah, I said I think it was a budget buyer's guide. I think it's a great option for kind of like, it was one of my worthy options, worthy mentions, I think. I think it's a good value little bike. Martin Schwartz from the Rock and Roll Capital, Cleveland, Ohio. Hey man, how you going? What I think of e-bikes? I'm a big e-bike fan. Like, personally, if e-bikes were at a price that I could afford them, and they would say something like the LaPierre and the Levo SL, that kind of like in between e-bike, because I don't need all the 250 watts of power, but having that little boost on the climb, so I could just ride a little bit longer, and then maybe only have 2 or 3 kilos extra weight on the descents. Like, you don't feel that as much. But on a normal e-bike, you definitely feel like a bit more of a passenger on the descents. The bike's kind of doing most of the work for you. Where in those lighter e-bikes, it definitely feels a little bit more maneuverable and more like a normal bike. So I think that's the way that it's going to go with e-bikes. You're going to have those lighter e-bikes, and then you're going to have those heavier e-bikes for that longer range and extra boost and that kind of stuff. But for me, I don't necessarily need it, but that little extra boost on the climbs to make them a bit easier would stop me from doing all the hiker bikes that I do. So yeah. Where am I now? So yeah, we're down to where we were. Prices are so inflated right now. Yeah, I agree. Vander. Where can I van the Vander online? So it's at Bikes Online and Bicycles Online. So Bikes Online US, Bicycles Online Australia. So just go on the site, type in Vander. Didn't even know they were up. Lil Brooksy asks, we got Slade first. Slade asks, what's better value, the Fathom 1 or the Marina Big Trail? The Big Trail's probably got better specs for the money, but I prefer the geometry on the Fathom. So it's going to be really what you prefer. I'll always pick frame. Lil Brooksy, do I prefer SRAM or Shimano? I'm a Shimano fanboy. Always have been. And we've got Henry, Radon Skiing Trail. Yeah, I think the Radon Skiing Trail, I think I probably should have included that in the buyer's guide for the all mountain bikes, but I think it's a great bike for the money. Chef asks, I was going to get an Alpine Trail XR. You said might get one. Do I think the carbon one is better option or the XR? It really depends on what you kind of like doing. If you have trails that kind of would work a little bit better on a coil and you don't mind the extra weight, then I think the XR is a better option. But if you're looking for something a bit more versatile, and so I think the XR is like a bike park and super aggressive terrain edition, and then the Alpine Trail Carbon will be better, a bit more versatile, a bit lighter, a bit more responsive. So if you're looking for that kind of bike, then I would definitely go that. So yeah, it just depends on your personal preference. Personally, for me, I'd probably go the Carbon. I don't usually like carbon bikes, but I don't necessarily need the burliness of the XR. I think the Carbon will probably be a little bit better for me, but I don't usually spend that much money on bikes, so I don't think I'll be able to afford the Carbon. But it's a great value bike, but I'm broke. Chris Walker asks, Avanti Hammer LT is a good bike for the money. The Avantis tend to usually be a little bit behind the 8 ball, but I don't know if they updated the frame or anything for this year. But we'll have a look and see. It does look like the frame's been updated for this year. Where's the geometry of it? Doesn't look too bad. Let's have a look. Geometry. Do they even have a geometry chart? Don't think it even has geometry. Well, that's not very helpful. It's not helpful at all. Oh, again, the geometry doesn't actually look that bad. So yeah, it looks half decent for the money. But yeah, I'd probably, like, it's not too bad, but I think there's probably some better value options out there. Yeah, I understand, Amiga. I had to look at them too. I have taken a cheeky spin on one, and it was very good. The Vander N was very, very, very capable. Travis asked, can't remember if I mentioned it in the buyer's guides. What do I think of the Fazari Delano Peak? Yeah, so that was in the all mountain. It was kind of like the worthy mentions. I think it's probably one of the best value bikes out in the moment. So if you're looking at the next kind of price tier above like the more budget value that I usually focus on, it looks like crazy great value for money. So the Spectral is a great option as well, but the Fazaris, so personally, those are probably like two of my top picks if you're looking for a carbon or mountain bike at the moment. So you can't really go wrong with either. So pick whichever you prefer. I think the Fazari will be a little bit more responsive and a little bit more nimble than the Spectral, but only fractionally. So Canyon Chaser asks, what's the best drop upgrade for my Neuron CF8? Original's not great. I like the bike yoke's my favorite one that I've used personally, but yeah. Jojo asks, Marin popular in Australia? They were huge in the UK, but not so much. They're becoming more popular, so they're sold by Bicycles Online, which sell Polygon as well. So they're a bit more popular than they used to be in Australia. There was a period where they weren't really sold here. So, yeah. Henry asks, do a review on the Radon scan. I think it's, like, I'd love to, but there's just no way to really get one here. Yeah. Yeah, the Avani Hammer, as I said, yeah, the geometry didn't look too bad. There's probably some better bikes value for money out there, but the geometry didn't look too bad from the photo. That's looking at it. Like, looked at a fair few bikes, and you can tell roughly, but yeah, it looked half decent. But yeah, the spec doesn't look as good as some of the other bikes that we looked at. Chris, have a look at Avanti's Facebook. They check the specs there. Okay, I'll have a look. Might not be able to have a look now, but I'll have a look. Definitely, yeah. We'll get around to it. Rowdy Thomas, for roughly $1,000 US. Would you waiting for the Ragley release in 2021 for the Big Al, or go the Stoic? I don't think you could go wrong with either bike. I think someone said earlier that the Ragleys were coming out at the end of this month. So if you can wait till then, yeah. Thanks, T-Man. Help me get to 100 subs. Is the Marina 140 worth it? I think the spec and the value is great value for money. The geometry is a little bit dated at this point, but if you're just looking for a fun 27.5 inch bike to throw around, then it doesn't really matter too much. All right, we might end the stream in like 5 minutes. I've got like the driest throat. I can't talk anymore. Chef asks, have I seen the new Norco range yet? Haven't seen it. I've seen what was the one that came out a few weeks ago? The one with the high pivot? Is it out on, did the range come out today? Is it on pink black? Let's have a look. No, I've heard people talking about it, but I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the Norco Shore, but not the range yet. I don't know if I can find. There's nothing really out about it yet. So the Norco Shore. Yeah, it looks sick. Heavy, but it looks great. A from Rays, should I get the 2021 T8 or wait till the 22 model? I think the frame's not going to change for 2022, so just really get a hold of which one you can when it comes in stock. Henry says, don't need to get one. But yeah, give my opinion and price and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I might do a video. Just need to figure out. I've got a lot of videos planned coming up, so it might have to be a little while. Amigo, yeah, so help me get to 100 subs. Yeah, it's a good bike. I wouldn't be disappointed with it, man. Like, it's a fun little bike. Don't take everything. My word's not the be all and end all. It's just my opinion. It's a good bike. Big Shan, g'day mate. Keep up the gnarly work. Thanks, man. I've got specialized fuse. Yeah, I think the specialized fuse is a great little bike as well. I think I talked about it in the buyer's guide. I think I did, from what I remember. But yeah, if you guys got any last questions, send them through, because yeah, I'm going to finish the stream in a couple of minutes. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We've got a decent amount of people here. Kind of hung around the 45, 60 mark, something around there. So that's good to see. A fair few people. Timothy, do I reckon Polygon will bring out a hardtail with more modern geometry? Yeah, I think in the future that's definitely something that they're working on to bring out in the future. Chef, thoughts on if there will be a geo update for the 21 Siskiyou N series? Haven't got any info at the moment, but it's definitely, the frame hasn't changed for a while, so it could be something that's coming soon. Chris asks, what do I think about Bear Creek Bike Park? I think it's absolutely awesome. Definitely ride within your limits though. If you haven't done big jumps before, don't just send the big jump straight away. There's already too many people getting hurt. What's the actual weight of the Siskiyou T8? Around about 15 kilos. But yeah, as I said, if you change those wheels, that's going to save you a fair chunk of weight. But yeah, any last questions, send them through. We're almost done. Henry, great, that'd be awesome because I want to buy one. Can you do it soon? I'll see if I can. As I said, I've got a lot of bikes coming, a lot of videos that I've got. I've got like my 4 or 5 videos planned that are coming next, and working as well at the same time. It's hard to kind of churn out a lot of videos. Thoughts on the Specialized status? As I said in the buyer's guide, I think it's a great little bike. Well, it's a big bike, but yeah, I think it's a good option. There's also the status 141 as well, which I didn't know. In some markets, there's the 141. So yeah, there's the shorter travel option too. It's such a weird bike that it's not, the bike itself's not weird, but how they've released it, and there's no info on the website whatsoever. So it's just, there's nothing. Christopher Walker, can you put the Debonair spring in the RockShox 35s? I don't think you can change anything in those bikes. I think it's whatever's in there. So I don't know if you can change to like the C1 spring that the more expensive bikes have. Chef, what's the most anticipated rides for Southeast Queensland? There's some good ones up there. I really want to do there's some nice places like Boomerang Farm and that kind of stuff like that, but that's kind of like a little bit out of the big jumps there, a little bit out of my pay grade. But I really want to do like some longer descents, so like Hidden Vale, and those kind of places. I think there's Mount Clearwater. I think that's another one as well. That looks like a fun descent, similar to like a Rimba down here. It looks fast, but not too crazy. Then there's a few, around Brisbane, there's a few ones as well that I want to do. I'm not too familiar with the area, but those are the ones that I've kind of seen. Omega Dubs, becoming an ambassador for Polygon, is it hard? You can apply on the website. How much do you have to post? Like, it really comes down to you have to, when you're applying for an ambassador for any kind of company, you got to think like, and this is like, I posted on my Instagram about like, it was like YouTubers and like, it was like bike companies giving like YouTubers money and then riders like nothing. But it comes down to, when it comes to a bike company, like the reason they're investing in ambassadors and stuff like that is to increase sales. And if you're not talking about their bikes a lot or producing content that's going to sell them bikes, then it's not really they aren't really going to pursue people that aren't really doing that. So I think there was a lot of races that are salty about that kind of stuff like that, but you gotta evolve with the times. Like it's marketing. You gotta learn how to market yourself. So yeah, if you're creating a lot of most bike companies are looking for people that create content, especially YouTube these days. They like people that can do longer form videos and they can talk about, as opposed to just purely like Instagram edits and that kind of stuff. I think putting yourself out there as yourself as a person and then building up your brand, as well as showing off some cool riding too, I think that's definitely the way to go. So work on your brand and all that kind of stuff like that. Then apply. So you've got a bit of a resume to show. That's definitely what I recommend. If anyone's looking to get sponsored by a bike brand, that's what I would do. All right. I think that's pretty much it. Have I just talked about Norcos a little bit? Yeah, there's been a few questions about Norcos. But yeah, in full send, I haven't ridden anywhere in Melbourne yet either. That's pretty much it. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. So by the sounds of it, you guys wanted the Vander video. So we'll do that quickly. I'll write the script up for tomorrow and hopefully film some stuff tomorrow, and then hopefully have the Tannis video out the week after. But yeah, got the script for the Tannis video, just need to film it. But with the Vander stuff, I want to get that out quickly, so you guys, if you want to do want to get one, you're a bit more educated into your kind of purchasing position or whatever you want to call it. You understand the product before you buy it. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. And yeah, as always, actually, before I leave, I've been working. I know I said I was going, but hopefully too many people didn't leave when I was tuning out. But no, I'm staying for 2 seconds. Stay for a minute. No, I've been working on stickers and stuff like that. I got a machine. I don't know if you guys can see it over there. Wait, it's got the camera. There's a lag on my screen to when you guys see it. So over there. Wait, see if you guys can wait for this thing. So over there, I got my little Cricut machine. Sounds like cricket, but it's Cricut. And that essentially, it's like a little CNC cutting machine. So essentially I put in the design and then it goes across and then cuts out all the stickers and whatnot. So I've got some designs that I've been working on. So there's like the logo, say got that there. So I got the normal logo. Then I got a new catchphrase. There's hopefully I figured it out and then I realized, oh, it's to do with horse racing as well. But yeah, we got the idea behind all of it is like obviously got the logo for the stickers and that kind of stuff like that, so you guys can rep the logo and the merch and stuff like that. But I wanted to create stuff that's like, I guess, functional. So like for me, like when I did like the video when I was talking about like the top tips and stuff like that, like when I drop in before each ride, I've got like a few things I drop in for a descent. Like I got a few things that I say to myself. So I always want to be like, okay, keep your head up, look ahead, drop your heels, brake early, all those kind of things that just like your main kind of like things that you should focus on when you're riding. Elbows out, all that kind of stuff like that. So yeah, so I was like, these are going to be like either like just on your top tube behind your stem or like on your bars as well. Like you've got your head up and your heels down, and then they're obviously going to be small so they'll fit on your bike. And then like you've got like these ones as well. So you're like head up, heels down, brake early, stay loose, send it. I don't know, whatever you guys think about the ideas. I'm all up for, I think you guys are going to be the ones getting it. So I want you guys to have stuff that you like. And then just like the standard Trail Talk MT. Well, we're going TT MTB these days. I think that just looks a bit cleaner. So I don't know if you can see it. It's white. So don't know if you can see it. But yeah. Yeah, so been having a bit of fun with that. You can't see that at all. I just saw the replay, so it's yeah. But yeah, if you guys have any ideas for whatever you want, like what kind of text you want on it, I mean, it's going on your bike, so tell me what you guys want and I'll make it. But yeah, that's kind of something else. People didn't leave, so that was good. But yeah, now if you guys have any ideas for what you want on the stickers, let me know, and I'll probably put some out that has different I'll do polls and stuff like that so you guys can vote on which ones you prefer. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I usually do like a lot of polls and stuff like that there that I can't really do. There's some stuff that I just can't post on Facebook. So on YouTube. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that. But yeah, that's just something else that I've been working on. But yeah, if you guys thanks for tuning in, and we'll always do love doing the live streams. But yeah, I'll work on that Vander video. Gonna stay up late and do that kind of stuff because I got nothing else to do with my life. And yeah. Hey Lucas. Oh Lucas, I didn't see you tune in. Hey man. And see ya. Bye.